A somber quiet settles in when a life fades away. And today that silence rings out with a particular intensity, as our sources for this deep dive lead us to the recent passing of two figures whose lives were so closely woven together. In fact, even in their departure, the early word whispered of a shared destiny.
Indeed. It appears we are venturing into the specifics surrounding the ending of Hollywood legend Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. In those initial moments following the news, as it often happens, confusion and sadness gave rise to the suggestion of a simultaneous farewell. However, our task in this deep dive is to discern the precise truth as it emerges from the official reports.
Exactly right. Our mission today is to shed light on the events, carefully separating those early assumptions from the reality established by the investigations. We seek to understand not just the outcome, but also the path that led to it. A precise timeline that will allow us to form a clearer, more accurate picture of these tragic occurrences.
And that timeline, based on the information we've been able to piece together, begins with the discovery of their bodies in their New Mexico home, late February 2025. It was a finding that inevitably sparked questions and the need for a comprehensive forensic analysis to determine the exact circumstances.
So let's dig deeper into the details surrounding Betsy Arakawa's passing. The reports are unambiguous in pointing to the official cause of death: hantavirus pulmonary syndrome.
It's crucial to understand that this is a natural cause. Hantavirus pulmonary syndrome is caused by a virus transmitted to humans through contact with infected rodents. It's a silent and often unnoticed reality, but one that can have fatal consequences in certain cases.
And the precision of forensic analysis has made it possible to establish a fairly clear timeline. It is estimated that Betsy Arakawa passed away around February 11th, 2025.
Which leads us to consider the infection process. Hantavirus doesn't act immediately. According to experts, it takes a period of several weeks of exposure to contaminated rodent droppings for the disease to develop and for symptoms to begin to manifest. It's a silent incubation period before the severity becomes apparent.
Symptoms which in their early stages can easily be mistaken for those of the common flu, but unfortunately can progress rapidly and severely to very serious respiratory and cardiac complications. It's quite an insidious and dangerous progression.
Now let's shift our attention to Gene Hackman. The official information indicates that his passing occurred approximately 1 week after his wife's death. A short span, but a significant one within the context of these events.
His cause of death has been determined to be complications arising from hypertension and atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. These are pre-existing health conditions that unfortunately reached a critical point. Just to give everyone a clearer picture, atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease refers to the hardening and narrowing of the arteries due to plaque buildup.
And it's essential to highlight that Alzheimer's disease is also mentioned as a significant contributing factor in his overall clinical picture. Alzheimer's is a neurodegenerative disease that affects memory and other cognitive functions and undoubtedly had an impact on his health and well-being in recent years.
It was Dr. Heather Gerald, New Mexico's medical investigator, who shared these crucial details in a press conference, offering clarity in the face of the initial uncertainty. Her work was fundamental in accurately establishing the facts.
A perhaps technical but relevant detail for the chronology is the record from his pacemaker. The last recorded activity was on February 18th. This suggests an approximate date of his passing, which aligns with the overall sequence of events.
And the forensic findings are quite revealing. They confirm severe heart disease, multiple previous heart surgeries, evidence of past heart attacks, and significant kidney damage, all resulting from the chronic hypertension we mentioned earlier. A complex medical history that speaks to a long battle for health.
It's also crucial to note that the forensic examinations revealed no signs of internal or external trauma, completely ruling out any violent or accidental cause for his death.
Similarly, a test was conducted to detect the presence of carbon monoxide poisoning, and the result was negative, eliminating yet another possible explanation behind this tragic ending.
So we arrive at a central point in our investigation, the connection between these two narratives of loss. Initially, the possibility was raised that Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa had died simultaneously.
And given the depth and duration of their relationship, it's understandable that this idea emerged at first. However, the official findings present us with a different reality, an interval of approximately 1 week between their respective deaths.
And what's even more significant, the causes of their deaths were entirely distinct. One, as we've explained, was the result of an infectious disease acquired from the environment. The other, the consequence of progressive health deterioration over many years. Two separate paths to the end, yet so close in time.
Now, before we move towards our concluding thoughts, I think it's fitting to pause for a moment and remember the towering figure of Gene Hackman. a true icon of Hollywood's golden age.
Born January 30th, 1930, in San Bernardino, California, his expansive career spanned pivotal decades in 20th century cinema. His talent left an indelible mark on the history of filmmaking.
2 Academy Awards crowned his brilliant career for his unforgettable performances in The French Connection and Unforgiven, films that have become benchmarks and gave us performances that endure in our collective memory.
His versatility was remarkable. He displayed an exceptional ability to navigate a wide range of film genres. And this mastery made him one of the most admired and respected actors by audiences and critics across multiple generations, a familiar and beloved face to millions around the world.
And though he bid farewell to acting in 2004, his creative spirit lived on through writing novels and dedicating himself to painting in his Santa Fe, New Mexico home, the same place where he ultimately found his final rest alongside his beloved wife.
So we reflect now on the bittersweet nature of these discoveries. The departure, within such a short span of time, of a couple that shared such a long life together. 2 individuals united by the bonds of love and the passage of time, but whose final journeys took different paths, although strikingly close in their conclusion.
I think this serves as a reminder of the importance of accuracy in information, especially in moments fraught with deep emotion. How first impressions can lead us astray, and how the meticulousness of investigation can offer us a clearer understanding of the facts, even if that clarity doesn't diminish the pain of loss.
And this brings us to a final question for you, our listeners, who have shared this space of reflection with us. What does it mean when 2 lives so intimately intertwined conclude in such different ways, yet in such marked temporal proximity? Is there perhaps a deeper resonance in these individual farewells, an echo that speaks to the intrinsic and sometimes enigmatic nature of human existence?
We invite you to contemplate these questions, to reflect on the complex interconnections of life, health, and the narratives we construct to make sense of the events that mark our passage through this world. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.